Snow.
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 Snow. It won't be long before we start the OC show. Oh. Okay, my dear Scotty, let's listen to the and go.
You're not supposed to rhyme show with show.
I know. So I changed to go.
It was sloppy.
Sorry.
Snow.
What you say?
I told you that it's time to start the show.
That you only meant well.
Yeah, the show's gonna do
Of
well.
course you did. What you say?
I said let's go.
That it's all for the best.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like the best podcast.
What you say?
God, do I have to keep repeating myself?
Just what we need. You decided this.
Hold up, I
What
thought we
you
both
say?
decided to do this.
What did she say?
I said let's start the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to Whatcha Say, an OC podcast. My name is Elyse Daly.
And I am Scott Daly.
Together,
We're the Dailies. This is the podcast where each and every week, my wife Elyse and I go through the hit 2000s teen drama, The OC, episode by episode. This week on the show, we are covering Season 2, Episode 5, The SnO.C. It's one of them fancy winter episodes here in June.
Yeah, we're just, wishing we had them cooler days. But before we get into this episode, it's going to be time for everyone's favorite section. And really what the whole rest of our show is based on, Scott, it's the Rosies and the Thornies.
Yes, this is the part of the show where Elyse and I talk about the last week in our lives and the good and the bad. And then we say, hey, folks listening, what about you? What's going on in your life? What's your rose and thorn?
We've never asked them that before.
In theory, we were supposed to, but we forget. So while our listeners are thinking of their answers, and of course are going to immediately...
Should we ever share people's Rosies and Thornies?
If they want us to, I don't know. No one's sent one in yet. Email us at doofmedia@gmail.com and say rose, thorn, boom, done.
Yeah, maybe we'll share some Rosies and Thornies from you guys.
Yeah.
If anybody wants us to share one.
They might.
Maybe they don't.
Not.
I guess people would rather share a Rosie than a Thorny. Depending upon your Thorny. I may not want to share how much you want to complain. Just being honest.
Hey, Elyse, what is your thorn for this week?
Scott, we live in the state of Texas, and one thing that I hate about the state of Texas, and really about just life in the world in general, is the heat. I hate the heat. I hate the summertime. It's my least favorite season of all of the seasons, and it is hot now. We've hit some 100 temperature days, and I feel like normally we don't hit this awful dry heat until August or late July, and we have seemed to. I guess it's not super dry. It's actually kind of humid right now.
Shit, yeah.
But we don't normally hit that until mid to late July, and it's real bad in August and September, and we've seemed to have just kind of jumped right on in.
It is currently 96 degrees, but it feels like 102 right now outside, and it's 7 o'clock at night. That's when it's still 96 degrees.
It's awful.
It's funny. I had a phone call with our co-hosts from Australia, and in Australia it's wintertime, and so I got on
What's
a video.
The temperature
I got on
right
a video call with them, and Ruben's wearing like a hoodie, and I'm like, what the fuck, what are you wearing a hoodie for? And then I remembered that it's winter there.
How cold does it get in Australia?
I don't know. Hey Siri, what's the temperature in Sydney right now?
It's currently 57 degrees in Sydney,
Oh,
Australia.
57. That's a nice temperature.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
I mean, it is in the morning. It's going to be a high of 64 in Sydney today.
I'd take it.
Yeah.
I'd take that.
Yeah, but it's hot as balls in Australia in the wintertime. I mean, our wintertime, their summertime. December. With when the SnO.C came out, it was hot as fuck in Australia.
Yeah.
So,
and
it's
I guess
trade-offs.
maybe
It's trade-offs.
kind of in
I think you and I
California.
are cold weather people, which is the irony of the fact that you were born in Texas and I have lived most of my life in Texas. I don't know if the state is really for us. I can put up with very cold a lot easier than I can put up with very, very warm.
Yeah. Well, even though I was born here, raised here, went to those states that were quite cool in the summer because we don't like the heat. So I hadn't ever really had to experience the heat. And then, you think about the drill team days and about how in the heat of summer you have to practice
drill team.
outside.
When you were the
on the concrete.
The stingerettes.
Yeah. And you have to do jump splits on the concrete.
Not the jump splits on the concrete. Burning those thighs on the concrete.
More ways than one. Yeah. So anyways, it's just hot.
You know who does love the heat though?
Ghost.
Our
Siberian
Arctic
husky.
dog.
Yeah. You know what? It's fine. At least one of us does.
Yeah. Someone's getting some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, that's fine. Scott, what's your thorn? Speaking of dogs.
Speaking of dogs, my thorn for this week is
I don't know how this is your thorn.
Because you don't get to experience it. I have to.
I do in the morning.
So our puppy dog, Penny, who was our thorn last week because her health issues and we were so worried about it. And now she's completely fine and I'm so happy that she's doing fine. Even her knees are doing better than they were last week, which is wonderful.
And she jumped on the couch twice this week.
She has begun to sleep on the bed with us. Now, this always happened, but what would happen is when I would go to bed at around midnight or 1, I would pick her up and I would put her in her crate and she would spend the night in her crate because we weren't really trusting of her ability to not get into trouble while we were asleep. But she's 9 months old today.
Oh, it is her 9-month-old birthday.
And so we decided last week that she was old enough and well-behaved enough and housebroken enough that we did not need to crate her at night anymore. But what that means is she sleeps in the bed with us all night.
She's so cute. She's like a teddy bear.
And Penny does not sleep in bed like a dog. Like, she does not sleep at the foot of the bed and just chill there like every other dog I've ever owned. Penny sleeps in bed like a human. She gets between...
It's the cutest thing.
She gets between Elyse and I, head on the pillow between Elyse and I.
Laying on her back with her feet up.
Laying on her back with her feet up. And...
bottom half under the sheets.
Yes. And she moves around a lot. And she rolls around. And she'll do this thing where she wants to stretch out. So she'll stretch out and then she'll back her back into my side. And basically, and just push against me. And I just feel like her pushing against my side for hours. And the result of this is that I have not gotten very good sleep in the last few days. Because here's what our theory for this is: Elyse moves around a lot in her sleep. Mm-hmm. She just does. But before there was space between us, so I didn't feel that. But now the movement is being channeled through the Penny.
You know what that means, Scott?
What does it mean?
We just have to get a bigger bed.
We can't fit a bigger bed in our house, Elyse. We've had this conversation.
We need a bigger bed.
We don't need a bigger bed so the dog can sleep between us. We need to teach the dog. The problem is it's so fucking adorable. It's so cute. I can't help myself.
She buries her little head in your shoulder.
Uh-huh. And she'll sometimes she'll put her head under Elise's pillow. It's the most adorable thing in the world. We have spoiled this dog rotten.
It's okay.
But she's so well behaved.
She is.
But yeah. So my thorn is really that I haven't gotten very good sleep. I woke up this morning. I actually put the eye cream on my eyes.
Wow.
Because the circles under my eyes were so bad this morning when I woke up. Because I have not been getting good sleep. But it's just an adjustment. It's an adjustment. When you and I first started sleeping in the same bed, I had a little bit of a time whereas I was used to sleeping alone. And I had to adjust.
I did not know this.
I did not complain about it to you because that would be a mean thing to do.
I did not know this.
I can tell you now because I've adjusted, but I was not going to tell you this at the time.
I do toss and turn.
You do. It's not even you specifically. I think it's just you get very used to sleeping by yourself, and then suddenly there's another person in that bed with you, and it takes some time to get used to them.
Well, yeah, I sprawl everywhere.
Oh my God. You're diagonal with limbs extended, full wingspan. And now, you know who else does that? Penny.
She learned it from the best.
Yeah. So that's my thorn. Rough sleeping week. But that's okay because I don't have to wake up early and do anything. So
except take out the trash tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Please help. Please help.
I will. I will.
Elyse, what is your rose for this week?
So last week, I was really excited. We had reopened our Pure Barre studio, and so I had gotten to teach, but I was really sad because I hadn't gotten to really take classes, and I really enjoy my bar classes. Mm-hmm. But this week, Scott, the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, and then over this weekend, I got to take some classes, and it was so lovely. It's just very relaxing. It helps me. It helps my body. I was just shaking, which is good. You're supposed to work the muscles to fatigue.
Those muscle shakes.
To where they shake.
Yeah, you made me do that one class online. There was a lot of shaking going on there.
Yeah, and that's what's supposed to happen, Scott.
It's like that Outcast song.
Yeah, shake it like a Polaroid picture.
I'm glad you knew where I was going.
Yep. So anyways, I was just really excited that I got to take the classes.
Yeah.
I will say my first class back, I was so excited to see people and just talk to them. I think I was rambling
Oh, God.
on the mic afterwards. I was like, guys, I'm just so excited to be here and see you guys again and talk to people other than my family. And it's just been great. Yeah. Anyway, it was good. What's your Rosie, Scotty?
My rose for this week is a television show that you and I have been watching.
Always TV with you.
The service HBO Max came out a couple weeks ago, and we automatically got it because we have an HBO subscription. So if you have a HBO subscription through your TV provider,
HBO,
you got HBO Max. And of course, there's a bunch of stuff on there, there's a whole bunch of great. It's actually like a really good service. Like their selection is rivals.
They have wonderful old musicals on there.
Yeah, like their classic section is really, really wonderful. The point is, they also have a bunch of the DC shows, which DC Universe, I think, was a streaming service. I don't know if it might be gone now. I don't know. It was an exclusive streaming service.
It had its own streaming service?
Yeah. You got all DC comic books, like digital versions of like all DC comic books and a bunch of old DC shows and all these new DC shows they were making, like the show I'm going to talk about, Doom Patrol, which is a DC my comic book knowledge, especially in DC, is not very broad. Superman was my guy. I like Batman, and that's about it. So I really knew nothing about the Doom Patrol other than this version of the comic book story was one that some of our patrons who did have the DC subscription were watching that show and continuously praising it as this really, really wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. So I saw it was on HBO Max, and you and I started watching it, and it is really good. I'm enjoying really good. Like, I am so surprised. It's kind of it's funny and meta and ridiculous, but also has like this core underlying heart behind it. Like, each one of these people have gone through some pretty serious trauma, and they're trying to work through the trauma. And I appreciate the way in which the show manages tone, in that it can go between these like really, really absurdly silly set piece moments to this like really serious, like dramatic, really, really heartwarming, but also heartbreaking moments within the same episode. I think it's pretty remarkable how it manages that tone, because I think it's very difficult to do that well. It's got some really great actors. Alan Tudyk plays the voice. It has my boy Brendan Fraser, who I'm so glad is getting work again. That man has had such a difficult life, and I'm very happy that he's out working and earning money, and plays a great character, a great role that I really, really like. So yeah, I mean, I think we're 10 episodes into the 15 episode season. And yeah, I've been loving it. So we're going to finish it hopefully this week. And I think the new season's coming out pretty soon, I think. I hope to HBO Max. I hope it's just... Let me see.
Maybe you should look it up.
Let me see if DC Universe exists anymore.
I mean, the DC Universe is there.
Well, yeah, I mean...
It hasn't died or anything. It's still going on.
Yeah, no, it's still here. Yeah, it's definitely still here. So
$75
annually.
$8
a month. Yeah, which isn't a bad deal if you really like the comics, because that's a lot of comics. But I get it. I
don't read enough comics.
I get it through Hbo Max, which is nice.
Hbo.
So yeah, that's my rose. Really, really good show.
Yep,
lots of really good TV on right now. Actually, we just finished Killing Eve season 3. It's a fun show. I probably liked this season the least out of the 3, but
I will say her outfits have progressively gotten
that show.
So much.
We need, after OC, we're going to move on to Killing Eve, just so Scott's fashion corner, and it's just going to be constant praise. Just like, ugh.
It's like avant-garde.
I mean,
all the time.
Yeah, and it's not like, it's a type of fashion where I don't know if I would be like, oh, it's cool to just see people walking down the street wearing this stuff. But it just fits the aesthetic of the show so much.
when you know that the runway model is wearing what people want to be able to wear and pull off, but they may not be able to.
Sure.
She just does it.
That's the amazing part is she pulls it like it's so many different looks. We've gone completely off the rails, but watch Killing Eve, folks. It's really, really good. And Doom Patrol, of course.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
you know what else is
What?
good, Scott?
What's that?
The O.C.
Yeah, it's all right. Elyse, talk to me about episode 5.
Okay, Scott, this is called The New Era.
No, it's not. I forgot to change that.
Oh, yeah, it's called the SnO.C. It's the 5th episode of season 2 of the O.C. I don't even know if any of the rest of the stuff
rest
is right. Are you sure?
Yes, I remember
Fine.
specifically.
Okay. It was written by John Stevens and directed once again by Ian Twainton.
Man, Ian is on a roll.
It originally aired December 9th, 2004. So when it aired at the correct time of the year. But
Yeah, our boy Ian is back again to do weird things. There's a lot of weird directorial choices in this episode, Elyse.
I don't know if I paid as much attention to him as you did. I'm
well-
sure you were much more keen on that.
One of the things I noticed was that Toynton likes to do really weird insert shots of things where, like, when you do you know what an insert shot is, right? It's when you cut from the scene to like a zoomed in on like an object. Like if I was drinking from this coffee mug and then there's a cut just of the coffee mug. He does this all the time with things that don't need, like there's this scene where Marissa.
You know, he'd take a shot of my stuff
What?
right now. My wine bowl.
Sure, yeah, your giant wine bowl.
My wine bowl.
Yeah. There's a scene where Marissa is handing out tickets to the SnO.C dance, and he does an insert shot of the box with the tickets in it that make you think, oh, these tickets are going to be real important. We need to make sure we see the tickets, and they're not. He does the same thing with Summer's shoes. It's very strange.
Oh yeah, with her walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
You were really
It's just weird.
confused
It's just
about
weird.
that.
Anyway, this episode, here's the summary. It's winter dance time at Harbor High, and Ryan and Seth both want to take their new ladies, but they both say no. So the old gang of 4 ends up going together, which makes the perfect Zach show some imperfections for the first time ever. He gets a little jealous. Then Julie finds out about DJ and Marissa and tries to stop it, but then instead decides to make out with her ex-husband. Lindsay and Ryan seem ready to work out their differences until curveball! Lindsay is actually Caleb Nichols' secret love affair daughter. What?
Yeah. What?
That's
for sure.
Elyse, what did you think of this episode?
Let me see. It's a fun episode.
Okay.
It reveals what I knew was going to happen.
Yes.
And what I told you, if you had watched back on it, you'd be like, oh, shady, long-haired, redhead character has other new character, very similar. Guess they're together. You know,
you can't just assume that.
Oh no, Scott, you can assume that. You can assume all those things in these like little teenage dramas. So I mean, like it's good. It reveals one of the big things that I guess goes on for a while in this season with the character Lindsay, and then with what Caleb has as far as now. We haven't seen necessarily the aftermath with Caleb and how it affects his family, his relationship with Kirsten, as well as Julie, and then, you know, the whole Ryan and Seth thing. There is going to be a very fun scene that I enjoy in the next episode where Seth tries to figure out the relationships between
Of course Seth's going to do that.
yeah, Lindsay and Ryan, because, you know, they're dating. So that's fun. But
I mean, it's his aunt, technically.
it's Seth's aunt.
Yeah.
But Ryan's married, or not married. Ryan is
Yeah, but he's
adopted.
not a formally
but
adopted.
non-biological aunt.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so one of the things that I love about this and why I am enjoying the show so much in the second season is because I think they've really steered into the soap opera-ness of it all. To an extent that I don't think they have in the past. Like, I think this was always like a soapy type drama, but this is literally a soap opera plot. This is literally Caleb, the rich benefactor, is paying off this woman, and he's being charged. Like the big the big reveal here is that the case they're bringing against Caleb is because he's been paying money to this woman every year for 16 years.
On the city council.
Yeah, and she's on the city council. So the assumption was he's bribing her. But the reality is he's just paying like under the table child support for this hidden child he fathered. This hidden child that just happened to start going to the high school, that just happened to get in a relationship with Ryan, which is like the most soap opera thing ever. The reveal that I'm dating my aunt. It's like the most soapy thing ever. And I think it actually works here. I think it works a lot.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of fun stuff in this episode. I think we're complicating the characters a little bit more. I think the Alex and Seth relationship continues to delight me in interesting ways. I enjoy Alex
so much.
I think Seth is at an all-time best in this episode. Not in like he's behaving well, but like he's funny.
In his normal Cohenisms.
Yeah.
Once again.
Yeah, he's having fun. He's very funny. There's a lot of funny jokes in this episode. The Mr. Freeze reference that just fucking killed me.
What was the Mr. Freeze reference?
When they walk into the dance.
Oh my god, Drew.
Is it okay?
Okay, it's beautiful.
I can't believe you did all this.
It reminds me of when Mr. Freeze attacked the Gotham Society Ball, which is a compliment.
I missed that. But
You're just not paying attention to the best
just like you to catch it.
So yeah, good episode. Good episode.
Yeah.
But of course, even if it is a good episode, there's still some bad parts about it.
Yeah.
And that's when we get into our thorns of the episode. Elyse, what is your least favorite thing about this week's episode?
Well, I mean, now that we know who the reveal is of Caleb's love child, we know that Lindsay's not just going to go away there, Scotty. So Lindsay is now going to be a more prominent role in the show for the foreseeable future. And, you know, it's like you're kind of torn because she can't help the character and the character can't help the situation that she's in. But, you know, if two just kind of pathetic people have to be together, then at least they have each other, you know? And you can't just be so upset at the people that are just misfits that are just together.
So this is week 3 of Lindsay being a character on the show.
Yeah.
Week 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Week 3.
Three.
I still do not understand why you don't like this girl so much.
She's so blah. She's just blah.
I think she's better.
She's the best that he has been with, including Marissa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah.
She's just...
I like her. I mean, their big interaction on this week's episode is basically like the lack of communication skills between guys and girls, right? Yeah. Which is not a well it's a well that we've plumbed before on the show, yes. But like, so basically he asks her out, she says no. I think the funniest line in the show to me is when she's like, we can't go out, we're lab partners.
Actually, I don't think so. I mean, I would love to go out with you, but we are lab partners.
Like it's a like that's
little
a thing.
Did you know you were much more there, Lindsay.
Yeah. But so like she says no, and then she sees Ryan with Marissa, like not flirting but just having fun, and then she regrets it, and like Seth like sneaks in behind her to be like the devil on her shoulders, like, you can still ask her out, you know, but he'll think I'm crazy. It's like, oh, he knows you're a girl. That's the whole big theme, is that girls are crazy, which is not fair. But I think the women in the show this week in particular are acting pretty fucking nuts across the board. Even the adult women in the show are acting pretty fucking nuts. Julie Cooper.
What about Kiki?
She's all right. She's holding it down.
You think she's holding it down.
But, so, what was I saying? I
will say one of those insert shots was actually an important insert shot.
Was it? What was it?
Well, if I tell you, then it will reveal something.
We'll come back to it later, I guess.
I mean, I can tell you which one was important.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But that's the problem with Toyton, is he does all these insert shots that don't matter, so I'm not paying attention when they do.
Yeah.
It's bad directing.
One of them does.
All right.
Big payoff there, Scotty.
But I like Lindsay. I like her. I think she's fine.
You know, she's pretty.
Yeah, she's very pretty.
She's very pretty.
And they've gotten her style down even better this week.
Yeah.
She looks
She's just
good.
that normal run-of-the-mill.
I mean, she's no Summer, right? But who is, right? She's no Summer. She's no Anna. Summer and Anna, best girls on the show so far.
Yeah,
really.
definitely.
But I don't know. Like I don't. It's not that I dislike her. Like it's not that I like her. Like it's not that she's my favorite character on the show. But I just love what the show is doing with her character and her entrance into the show.
With Lindsay? See, yeah. I don't know. I just feel like they always plateau. And then, I mean, that's where Ryan is right now. He's just always the same.
Ryan's the mayor of Plateau City.
Yeah.
He posted up there episode 1 and he's just remained
and you know what?
There.
Lindsay entered the show and she was something different. And now she's joined Ryan and she's just going to go boo.
You want to know what my thorn is?
What? I love these people. I don't know why this is your thorn. I find it hilarious.
Julie and Jimmy Cooper.
They're dynamic. They're such, like a roller coaster of a couple.
So we talked about this last week and how I really felt like the show was setting up the rekindling of a spark between Julie and Jimmy Cooper. And that spark was born unto a flame during this week's episode when both of them are chaperoning the SnO.C dance, which I don't... Why? I don't know. Not only why Jimmy, why is Jimmy chaperoning the dance?
Did we have parents chaperone our dances?
I'm fine with
I think I did have them chaperone after prom, but I don't think that they chaperoned the actual dances.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That was
who they want, who TV shows want to chaperone dances always depends on what the characters are. Like if the characters were teachers, the teachers would be chaperoning the dance. The characters are parents, the
Mr.
parents
Turner.
are chaperoning the dance. Yeah, exactly. Sweet Boy Meets World reference, babe. Yeah, awesome.
Thanks.
So, babe.
What?
You really like what was that?
I love Julie Cooper.
Julie
Cooper Nickel.
I like Julie Cooper. I am utterly uninterested in Julie Cooper rekindling her shit with Jimmy Cooper.
Okay, you know what? What's the greatest thing about Julie Cooper?
What?
She's unpredictable.
I mean, that is true.
And
she's fucking making out with everyone.
And she's always just running conflict left and right. And so, if Julie's in an episode, she's going to bring some spice.
It does,
and that's why I like Julie.
It does seem like she's just chasing money, though. I know that's not what's happening, but the second Caleb gets in trouble, she's going back to, hey, Jimmy's got money again. Let's head on back there.
Jimmy's been nice to her.
He has. Well, there was that whole thing. There was that whole thing last week where it's they're talking about why they got married, right? And it's like, You married me because I was pregnant, and he's like, no, I married you because I loved you. And then they look into each other's eyes, and then this week they just fucking make out in the middle of the dance, in the middle of the fucking dance. They're just making out. I don't like it.
Way to go, Juju.
I hope this does not last the entire season. I don't want it to, because now they're going to have a secret affair under Caleb's nose. Well, I mean, Julie's going to learn about this affair and this child, and she's not going to take it well because she's Julie Cooper, and she doesn't take anything well ever. But the thing about Julie Cooper I did enjoy in this week's episode is how she decided that Ryan is the best person ever, and she wants Ryan to date Marissa.
That was funny.
Because Ryan's better than DJ. Because Julie Cooper catches DJ and Marissa
making out.
And the first thing she says, what is the first thing she says when she sees them?
You're fired.
No.
Oh, the yard guy?
The yard guy?
Forgot.
Which, I mean...
You know what? Julie probably would have done the yard guy too if he was interested.
I mean, yeah, let's, you fucked
That's the type of person she is.
You fucked a teenager that dated your daughter. You can't judge other people's choices.
She was waiting on DJ to hook up with Marissa before she made her move on him. And now that he did, she feels like she can make her move, but she's kind of disgusted because it's too recent. And so just give her some time, Scott.
Okay.
Which that's not going to happen because if I told you, then it's not going to happen because I'm not going to spoil something for you, right? Or would I?
I don't even know. My runner-up thorn was DJ the yard guy again.
Okay. Yeah.
At least Marissa's being less of a prick about him because she brings him into the dance. Now, it takes Ryan encouraging her to do it. He basically calls her out on being embarrassed to be with the yard guy. And she doesn't say that that's true, but come on. Come on.
It's true.
It's true. Hey, Elyse.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your favorite part of this episode.
Oh my gosh. So you know what the best thing about watching the show is?
What's the best thing?
Is when you are talking out what you think is going to happen, and then you're like, oh my gosh, Caleb is a secret love child. Oh, I wonder who that boy is. And you're like going back and forth, and you're like trying to predict it, and you're like trying to get things out of me, and you're really excited about it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to show her in this scene. She's going to turn around, and it's going to be the mom, and we're going to see it, and we're going to know.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen, and then you think, oh man, why wouldn't they do that? Am I wrong? And it's just, you talk through it a lot. I enjoy it. I'm saying it because I enjoy it because I know it's going to happen. And so I fully embrace and love the process of you trying to figure the things out.
I want to preface this.
What?
With the fact that I do not do this for everything we watch.
Oh, no, you don't.
When we are watching a movie, I am silent. When we are watching Doom Patrol, for the most part, I'm silent. This is... Our dogs are fighting. This is something that's specific to watching of this show.
Yeah.
Because it's a soap opera and I'm enjoying it. I would like to state that I got Lindsay as Caleb's secret daughter before the show did.
Well, it took a while for you to get there.
No, I got it.
No, Scott, it took a while.
It's still before the show revealed it, though. I got there. Mm-hmm. It's when Ryan goes to Lindsay's house to confront her at her house. I was like, because I'm like, that's when, like, I really expected
her to shut the door and for the mom to be, oh, hey, who's that, honey?
They basically did that, but in a different way. They had the mom going to the Cohen's house instead.
Wasn't it so much better that way?
No, I liked it my way better, actually.
No.
I thought my way would have been better.
No.
Well, I mean, the thing is, my way works as a reveal for the audience. The way they did it in the show works as a reveal for the characters, because now all the characters know about it too, and that it's a the way the show did it is a better cliffhanger, which is important when you're trying to bring people back. So I get that. I still like my way better, but
of course, because it's your way.
I'm sorry, I'm so animated about the show, Elyse.
Oh no, I love it. I fully embrace it. I wouldn't want it any other way, Scott.
This is how I like watching the show.
This is how you watch soap operas, and we never would have known had we not started watching a soap opera together.
We kind of already talked about My Rose.
I know.
Because My Rose is soap opera. The soap opera nature of the show. I everything about it. Like it's really gotten to the absurd melodramatic level now, and I think that's where it's operating at its best. I think when it's silly and over the top, it's like silly with good comedy beats and then over the top melodrama. Like when Seth basically like asks Summer for help with Alex because Alex has given her the cold shoulder. Like she makes out with a girl, and I love how the show processes this 16-year-old boy watching a girl make out with another girl, which is just exactly what 16-year-old boys would do. But he goes to Summer for help, and Summer says play her cold. So he shows up at work, and Cohen trying to play cold is hilarious, but he pulls it off and ends up quitting the job at the bait shop. And then he's like walking out the door, and like I guess he's expecting her to like say
chase
like, wait, Cohen. And so he's just kind of walking down the pier, and the shot is this wide shot of him walking down the pier into the commercial break, and it's so over the top where he's just like Charlie Browning his way down the pier, and it's so good.
Funny.
It's really funny. I love it.
It is. It's good.
But I mean, of course, I'm dating my grandfather's love child is got to be the greatest sentence I've been able to say about this show. And
you just wait, Scotty.
It's so great, though. It's so great. Yeah. And I mean, we're like, I think all the dramatic beats are working on me right now. Like,
I think this whole show's working on you right now.
The Summer and Zach. We haven't talked about Zach very much this week, but
I know we'll talk about him later.
But I think the Zach Summer relationship is getting super interesting, because I think the problem with Zach before, as much as I liked him as a character, is he was basically perfect, and that just gets kind of boring after a while. Like, it's great in the first couple of episodes, but you need to complicate him a little bit, and I think we're starting to do that. I don't know. They're just everything about the show is working on me. My Rose is the OC right now because it's fucking firing.
Wow.
On all cylinders. Yeah.
Okay, Scott.
Yeah.
I did come up with a slight little song.
Oh yeah, it's time
ready?
for my style section. Elyse,
ready?
do the jingle.
Come on, Scott. Tell us about the style in the OC. Hey, hey, hey. Come on, Scott. Tell us about the style in the OC. Hey, hey, hey. And Scott did his dance moves. And if you couldn't tell, that was to the song Vogue. And maybe it'll get better every week. Sorry.
I don't have much to talk about this week, Elise.
Yeah,
I only have 2 items.
There's not much.
The style was pretty normal. I mean, all of our characters were wearing suits.
All things considered.
All the guys were wearing suits to the ball. The girls were wearing dresses, and they were,
they were
winter
decent.
ball appropriate. Nothing really stuck out for me. Summer is wearing. So remember,
she's screaming 1970s.
Remember
right
that
here.
they live in Southern California.
Yeah.
But
it's winter.
It is winter, but they live in Southern California, so it's warm.
It's a crocheted. It's got breathing holes.
Summer is wearing a long sleeve orange sweatshirt.
No, it's just a long sleeve shirt. There's no sweatshirt. It's a thin long sleeve.
I mean, what is the line between shirt and sweatshirt?
It's the material.
Yeah, but like what is the thickness of what is the line? Like at what point did we cross over? Because I think it looks thick enough to be a sweatshirt.
It's not thick enough to be a sweatshirt. It's t-shirt material.
How do you know that?
Because I know how those types of shirts are.
Well, you're just a shirt expert now.
I am.
The point is, she's wearing a scarf. She's wearing a scarf with the sweatshirt, and the scarf is
with this long sleeve top.
Yeah, the sweatshirt. The scarf is
thin long sleeve. You know, she needs the scarf because it's a thin long sleeve. She
doesn't need the scarf at all because they live in Southern California.
If it's a long sleeve and you've got that wind, I mean, maybe she's got a breeze.
Can I describe the scarf, please?
Yes, please.
Please
let me describe the scarf, Scott.
It's like this. I mean, Elise is absolutely right that this whole outfit is like so 70s. Just the color of the shirt,
she's
the
got
scarf,
those hoops.
She's wearing hoop earrings. The scarf is it's like a series of circles. And the circles are 4 different colors, like a tan, a brown, an orange, and then like a little bit of a darker brown. Why are you laughing at me? Describe it.
No, you're doing a great job. I'm enjoying it.
Why are you laughing at me then?
I just am
Is there a
enjoying
term?
it. No, there's no term.
Okay.
I would tell you if there was a term. You better believe I'd speak up if there was a term.
What do you think about this outfit, Elise? Do you like it?
Yeah, I'd wear it.
It feels more fall-y than wintry to me.
It is fall colors, but you know, you can make it work. Mm-hmm. In California, when it doesn't get to be true winter, they can kind of wear those fall.
So they just stretch fall out into year-round?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, people in Texas dress like they're in summer year-round.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, that's all for the summer fashion. The only bit I had a little bit left, which is, I think the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it's topically terrible.
It's just not great.
Seth in this show is wearing a shirt that says "Never question authority" and has a police car on it. Which, I mean, first of all,
kids,
it's
just untimely.
Kids, question authority. Always question authority. Always do it. Questioning authority is good. We're Americans. That's what we're supposed to do. But yes, time-wise, not a good thing to see when I'm watching the OC on a Sunday morning, and I see this shirt. So not great. Not great choice there, Cohen.
So we're just going to say that, you know, in future seasons, maybe they'll go back in and just correct the shirt.
Well, did you hear that on HBO Max, they have new Looney Tunes, and the Elmer Fudd in the new Looney Tunes will not be using a gun. He will use all other kinds of weapons to trap the Wabbit, but not a gun.
Interesting.
Yeah, they don't want. Look,
he's hunting. He's a hunter.
Yeah. Look,
what else do the hunters use?
I think this is silly.
Yeah.
But it's silly. It's silly in not a way it's worth getting. Like, people are bent out of shape about it on both sides, of course. And I just think it's stupid. Like, I don't care. But I don't know. I don't think the United States, our problem with gun culture in this country is because of Looney Tunes. I do not think that's the case. So I would not care if Elmer Fudd was using a gun. But anyway, not a good shirt. I think my guess is this is supposed to be like an ironic tee, right? Like he's wearing it specifically to be ironic. I don't think he...
Stop trying to justify it.
I'm not trying
to... It's just bad, Scott.
You don't think ironic tees were a style in the 2000s?
Oh, no, they were. You remember the North Carolina shirt last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
So why are you... I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just saying why I think the character is wearing it. Not why the wardrobe people put it on him. I'm saying, why did Seth Cohen open his drawer or go to the store and say, yes, that one? I think it was the irony factor.
That irony.
Yeah. So not too much style stuff. I don't have to tell anyone to. I forgot what the catchphrase was. What was my catchphrase?
I don't remember.
Fuck.
We'll have to go back and listen to last week's and then remember what
it was like I gave him a letter grade and then said something.
Oh yeah, you did. You gave him a letter grade.
I'm gonna give Summer's fashion a C. You in the fall.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
And I'm gonna give Seth's shirt an F for fucking not now, Seth.
That's good. That's good, Scott.
There we go. I did it.
You did so good
to get there, but we did it.
I'm glad you remembered. You're a better man than I am.
All right, Elyse, let's move on to the next and final section of the show. Yes, relationship status. This is the part where we just talk about all the different relationships on the soap opera and see how we're doing. We give them ratings.
We do, and we talk a little bit about what happened.
Yeah,
so that you guys know, because everyone knows that the relationships are what defines the soap opera.
Sure.
And so that's what defines the show.
Yeah.
And so we're going to start this week with Sandy and Kirsten Cohen. Last week they were at a 7 out of 10. And this week there really wasn't anything major that happens in their relationship. We do know that Sandy is still working for Kirsten's dad for this case that he is being, just completely ripped apart by. And he's still standing by her dad, which is great. But there's just not a whole lot that goes on with their relationship. And you can see that in Sandy's face that while he knew that Kayla was paying off this Renee Wheeler lady, he didn't actually make the connection that was Caleb's love child. So Sandy was just a surprise. So at least he wasn't keeping that secret from Kirsten. So, without anything major happening to their relationship, we can't say that they decreased, but we also can't say that they increased. So we're going to keep them at a 7 out of 10.
I think he knew abstractly that this means there was a girl or a boy child, right? A 16-year-old. I think he knew that abstractly. I don't think it really hit him what that means and what that means for his wife until he sees Lindsay at the end of the episode and he realizes, not only is this the person, but she's real, she's in our lives already, and this is going to destroy my wife. And that's the part of, I'm not worried about them right now, in a relationship. I'm worried about Kirsten, and I'm worried about what this is going to do to Kirsten and the ripple effect that could have on their relationship. But I think a 7 out of 10 is pretty fair.
Yeah. Okay. Who we have next?
Next, we have Julie Cooper and Caleb Nickel, the happily married couple that just fuck around constantly.
Because why not?
Last week, we gave them a 4 out of 10. And this week, of course, there's a big bomb that dropped about Caleb. Julie doesn't seem to know about it yet. And, of course, we have to mention that Julie Cooper makes out with somebody else this week, that being her ex-husband. Their marriage, it's not looking good, babe. I mean, some would say it was never good, but we're going to bump this down to a 2 out of 10. How are you feeling about their marriage right now?
Two independent people that are just joined contractually.
So there's no love there. Was there ever any love there?
I mean, there was some left for money.
Sure.
And then there was Kayla's booty calls.
Do you think do they bang?
Oh, definitely.
Do you think she likes it?
Maybe sometimes.
I don't think she knows. I mean, All right, Elyse.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
For Zach and Summer, last week they were a 7 out of 10. This week, while Zach is not perfect now, and we know that, he's frustrated because he sees Summer and Cohen, and so he worries that there's still something going on between Summer and Cohen. And that just shows, number one, how much he cares about Summer and how much he is invested, which is semi-sweet.
Sure.
Then his frustration does something to where he's not as sweet, and he says he's not going to take Summer to the SnO.C, which definitely irritates her. But he decides to go and get some information from Alex at the bait shop. And when he does that, Alex pretty much says, you need to man up. She's not going to fall for you if you're not there to catch her. you know? And so he decides to go there and decides he's going to punch Seth Cohen and
he punches
declare
Seth right in the face.
the love for Summer that he is growing. And despite that poor choice of hitting another person, I think it's a good, good show of how much he loves her right now.
Sure.
Likes her right now, whatever. We're going to give him an 8 out of 10. They're going to increase a point.
I am surprised you gave them more. Like,
why?
This episode clearly shows chinks in their relationship. Like,
but at the end, they're happy.
Yeah, I mean, they work it out together in the end. Yeah. I mean, that's one good thing to see is that every time they've had difficulties, they've managed to work it out by the end of the episode. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really funny that earlier in the episode, Seth says to Ryan, like, Ryan doesn't want to go to the dance because every time he goes to the dance, he gets in fights because that's who he is. And Seth says, hey, it's a new year, man. Maybe this is my year for that to happen. And then what happens? Seth gets punched in the face at the dance, which is a very Ryan thing to happen. So yeah, I mean, there is like, Zach basically says in this episode that Seth and Summer are that couple, that kind of couple that even when they're broken up, aren't really broken up. And I think that's true. And I see the doom of Zach in the show now. I can see how this relationship is eventually going to fail. It feels like Summer and Seth are an inevitability here. And so I am much less positive on their relationship than you are, but I did enjoy, I mean, I think he does, so much of this show is repeating itself except with different characters because he does the driving the opposite way and then he hears something on the radio and then does the 180 turn on the middle of the road to turn around, which is something that we've seen Ryan do like 3 times. I think we've seen Luke do it as well. Also, we learned that the high school has their own radio station that Zach was listening to while driving around on a Saturday night. Cool, buddy.
SnO.C.
Yeah. So
okay.
8 out of 10. Okay. I would put that lower, but you do you.
Okay. Scott, tell me about Marissa and the yard guy.
All right, Marissa and DJ the yard guy. Last week we gave them a 3 out of 10. And this week, we start off with her seemingly still embarrassed. She tells him he wouldn't fit in at the dance. It's not a thing he would like. And Ryan calls her out on that and says, is that something he decided or you decided? And then Ryan starts taking off his clothes and you're like, Ryan, why are you taking off your clothes?
Boom, chicka wow wow.
It's because he's giving
Magic Mike.
No, he's giving DJ the yard guy his suit and tie. He says he's about my size, and I don't think that's true. I think DJ the yard guy is a much bigger
Unless
man.
they mean by size smaller than Marissa.
I mean, that is true.
They
still.
both are.
Well, height-wise smaller, because Marissa's like a stick.
Well, yes.
But I don't think the jacket would have fit. I think he's more muscly than Ryan is. I don't think the jacket would have been a good fit. But, I mean, despite any misgivings she has, Marissa gets DJ to dance with her. They dance in public, so they see that people see that they're together. She's over
including her mom.
Including her mom. But that's the worry, right? Like, is she just doing this just because of her mother or not? So that's why we're only at a 5 out of 10 for them. It seems like they're doing better than last week.
I really had him at a 4 out of 10, but then I felt bad. I was like, I'll just give him one more point.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Tell me what's up with Ryan and
my
Lindsay?
favorite couple, Ryan and Lindsay, both Blas. They are last week they were at a 4 out of 10, and this week Ryan wants to take Lindsay to the dance. She turns him down. She tries to go with him, but he's already said that he's going to go with Marissa. So then after he's at the dance, he leaves early to go spend time with Lindsay and say how much he really wants to be with her.
And she shuts him down again.
Yep. And then she eventually comes and she's like, I made 11 dots at the bottom of my page, Ryan.
Oh my
God. He's like, I got something better we can do with the time.
Can I take something back right now? I want to take every nice thing I said about Lindsay back because I just remembered the dots at the bottom of the page speech. And I hate that speech so much.
After you left, I tried to read, and I do this thing where I put a red dot at the bottom of the page to see how efficiently I'm reading, and sometimes I'll have to read a page 2 or 3 times, so there'll be 2 or 3 red dots. Well, after you left, I made 11 red dots at the bottom of the page. 11.
I made 11 dots.
11 dots, right? 11. And Ryan's like, so happy, and
11
I would
dots.
be like, get out of my. So they make out. Yay. Do they
And
make
play
out?
video
They actually-
games.
oh, they play video
Yeah,
games.
they play video games.
Lame.
So we're going to give them a 6 out of 10 just because
11 dots, baby.
11 dots.
11 dots.
Way to go.
I can't believe I forgot about the 11 dot speech. Oh, I hate Lindsay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm glad that you agree. So tell me about my real favorite couple,
All
Scott.
right, Alex and Seth, last week we gave them a 4 out of 10. Seth is playing the hot and cold game that Summer told her about to try to win Alex. It actually kind of works because he plays her cold and then she shows up at the dance.
After she told Zach,
Yeah.
go just punch the guy.
Yeah, Zach shows up at the
Bait shop.
bait shop and she's talking to him and says, "Go punch the guy." And he goes, "I'm going to go punch Seth Cohen." She's like, "Did he say Cohen?" And she chases after him and that's when she shows up. And then they make out again, right? So it seems like this kiss is a little bit more of a kiss. So things seem to be good in the magical world of Purple Hair McGee and Seth.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give him a 6 out of 10.
Way to go.
Yeah, good job, Seth.
Yeah.
I think my favorite line in the entire episode.
What is it?
Is when Zach is asking Ryan about Seth and Summer, and he's like, Ryan says something to the effect of, like, or Zach asks if he's over her, and Ryan's like, "Yeah, totally, yeah." I don't know. Well, he wants to be. He wants to be over her, and I think that is the most important thing now. Is that I do think that's true. I don't think I think he's actually done pining over Summer, at least for now. I think he's actually trying to get to a place where he's over her and actually legitimately seeking out this relationship with Alex, not just to have something to rub in Summer's face, which of course he does that this episode, but I think it's more than that, and I think that's what that 6 out of 10 represents to me.
Okay.
All right.
It represents 4 out of 10 plus 2.0 for me.
Is that why you did it?
No. Okay, Scott. Next
right,
week's episode is called The Christmas that Almost Wasn't. So what do you think is going to happen?
I mean, there's going to be a lot, it's going to be a lot of fallout in this. I mean, the biggest, most obvious thing is that the Lindsay factor is going to be, it's going to be a big fallout. Like, I think that could be the thing that almost wasn't Dies' Chrismica, because I think the family is going to be strained. Like Kirsten's going to be furious with her father. They're going to have to figure out, like, what is she going to do with her sister? Like, how is she going to react to her sister being part of her life? I think Ryan is going to want Lindsay around. Is Ryan going to want to date Lindsay knowing that she's like, there's, I think all this.
What would you want to do?
I don't know. I mean, part of me is just like, well, it's not like blood related. Like, this isn't my real parents. These are my guardians. I like this girl, but I think that would be a very difficult hurdle to get over in the early days of a relationship, where maybe it's just too hard to get over that hurdle this early in the relationship. Like, if they had been together for a while and committed and had been
and then built, oh my gosh, it turns out I'm your aunt.
Yeah. Guardian, the guardian of the ants.
Guardian of the ants.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think that's going to be a problem with Chrismica, and I think they're going to do something with Seth and Summer here, because I think Chrismica
is Seth's holiday.
It's a big Seth thing, and I think am I remembering incorrectly that Chrismica was a big moment in the Seth and Summer relationship last year? Because I know New Year's is when he turned her down, but I think Chrismica is when they like got close for like the first time, I think.
He was gonna give both of them gifts.
When was the Wonder Woman outfit? Was that Chrismica? It wasn't.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, we'll see. I think Chrismica is going to be a big deal.
Okay. Well, Scott, I think that's all we've got time for this week. So if anyone listening likes this podcast, you can check out all the other podcast shows that we do over at doofmedia.com. Mm-hmm. Also, they can consider donating at our Patreon, patreon.com/doofmedia.
Yeah.
And if you happen to be listening via Apple Podcasts, or if you happen to be listening via anything else, but then you have Apple Podcasts, just go right on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and a review. That'd be awesome.
Wow, you just like boomed through that outro.
Well, yeah,
just
you were on your phone.
Boom, 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 boom. got an email. It was an important business email.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone was telling me how much they like the Kingslingers podcast.
Oh, yeah. Soup's important.
All right, folks, we will see you next week when we are covering episode 6, The Christmaka That Almost Wasn't.
Oh, Christmaka.